Hey guys, in today's video we will be talking about biofuels and the one that I find most interesting, which is ethanol. You may ask yourself, what is biofuel? Biofuels are liquid produced fuels from renewable biological sources including plants and algae. Biofuels are also serve as a solution to one of the challenges of solar, wind, and other alternative energy sources. Unlike other renewable energy sources, biomass can be converted directly into liquid fuels called biofuels to help meet transportation fuel needs. The two most common types of biofuels in use today are ethanol and biodiesel, both of which represent the first generation of biofuel technology. One of the most popular biofuels nowadays is ethanol, which is mostly added to gasoline as a fuel additive to lower emissions and enhance fuel quality. Since ethanol burns cleaner than fossil fuels and contributes to a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions, it has gained popularity as a renewable energy source. The primary crops used to make ethanol are sugarcane in Brazil, corn in the United States. These plants contain a lot of carbohydrates, which biologically processes can transform into ethanol, which is readily available and sustainable, which is a available and sustainable energy source. Now let's talk about the production of biological source, sugarcane and corn. Growth of sugarcane and corn in the United States is the main source of ethanol, while sugarcane is used in Brazil. While sugarcane grows well in tropical climates, corn is grown in temperature climates and needs plenty of water and sunlight. The function of photosynthesis is to store the energy in the form of carbohydrates by converting sunlight into glucose in both plants. The generation of ethanol is based on these carbs. The production process. Fermentation, in which microorganisms convert agricultural sugars into ethanol and CO2, is the process that produces ethanol. The feedstock is the first ground and subsequently transformed into sugars, for instance, by enzyme breakdown in corn. When these sugars ferment, CO2 and ethanol are produced. Following fermentation, the ethanol is concentrated by distillation, and fuel-grade ethanol is produced by the further dehydration. Status of development. In many nations, ethanol is widely accessible and utilized as a standalone fuel or an additive in gasoline. Ethanol is frequently combined with gasoline in the U.S. at the rate of 10% and at up to 85% in flex fuel cars. The development of cellulosic ethanol, which employs non-food plant material like grasses or agricultural leftovers, yield optimization and cost reduction are still the main goals of research. Impact of the carbon footprint. The effect of ethanol on carbon emissions is complicated. The crops used in production absorb CO2 during growth, which may balance some emissions, even though burning ethanol releases CO2. However, a number of variables, including crop type, farming methods, and production efficiency, affect the overall reduction in the carbon emissions. Ethanol can cut greenhouse gas emissions by roughly 20 to 40% when compared to gasoline, though this can vary on changes in land use and agricultural inputs. Impact on the economy. Because ethanol manufacturing raises demand for crops like corn and sugarcane, it benefits agricultural areas economically. Additionally, it lessens the need for oil imports, which may help keep fuel costs stable. However, because the rising maize demand can raise the price of food and animal feed, the use of food crops for biofuel has raised worries about food prices. Ethanol has also encouraged investment in the creation of jobs in the rural regions. Attempts at public communication. Ethanol's economic and environmental advantages are frequently highlighted in the public awareness programs, such as those run by Renewable Fuels Association and the U.S. Department of Energy. The public is also educated about the advantages of ethanol through government incentives, labeling at the petrol stations, and programs like NASCAR's. Current evaluation and situation. Despite its demanded advantage in lowering greenhouse gas emissions and bolstering rural economies, ethanol has drawbacks in terms of energy input, crop dependence, and land utilization. Some of these problems might be lessened with the development of ethanol, which would make ethanol a more environmentally friendly option. Enhancing its environmental impact can also be achieved by further production efficiency blending with gasoline. This is my action plan for what I would do if we had infinite funding. And this is all encompassing strategy that could address ethanol's present